Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show. Do not adjust your sets. I am not Dave Juskow. He did not just get a lot of hair transplants. I am your guest host, Elon Altman. Dave is on assignment. That's what I like to say, as if we're some 90s nightly news show. No, I'm here because Dave is on he's having a special night, which we'll talk about in a bit. I'm here. Mike is here. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Elon.
So we got half the regular gang here, and it's not bad. But no, I'm glad to be here. And like I was telling Mike beforehand, as you guys know who listen to the show, it's hard to get a word in when Dave is on a show. So it's nice that I do finally get to speak. So for people who listen to Dave and I on our Billy Joel A to Z podcast, they know that Dave talks about 98% of the time. And then I just chime in once in a while. But now you get to hear me for, what does this last for? Almost an hour, Mike?
Yeah.
All right, very good. I should have warmed up the vocal cords. Anyway, so what Dave is doing now, which you guys might be interested in, is he is actually at a very special dinner, and it's relevant to this show because this is the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show, and he is at this Italian restaurant called Rouse or Rao's with the legendary booker of the Comedy Cellar, Esty. That's why he couldn't be for this show. And normally he would never skip this show, but when Esty asks someone to come to dinner with her, it's very important, and you don't want to say no to her. So he is there with Esty right now, and also with two of the. Is that a picture of the restaurant?
Yeah.
I thought that was supposed to be a picture of Dave sitting at there.
That's movie Dave.
Yeah, it looks like Hank Kingsley from the Larry Sanders Show. Is that Mr. Rao himself?
It's Frank Pellegrino, apparently.
Okay, Frank Pellegrino, owner of the restaurant, and then 4 people who were photobombing him in the back. And Mike, you were saying this place only has what, like 4 tables?
It only seats 60. It has 4 booths and like 6 tables or something like that.
Okay, so it's like really, really exclusive.
Yeah, and you can't get reservations. Like they're all assigned to families.
Yeah, and you were saying that it gets inherited down. So if someone dies, their family, like when the lawyer's reading the will, it's like, okay, you get $1 million and you get the table at Rouse.
Basically, yeah.
I wonder if you could sell it. You know, it's kind of like when you get season tickets to a football team now, you have like to buy the plaque that like gives you the right to buy the tickets.
Oh, that's right.
So if you want to be like a Jet season ticket holder, you got to spend $10,000 just to have the right to then buy the tickets. It's really a scam.
Maybe. I think it depends what your grandkids are into. This place seems a little old school, if you know what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, you'll wind up in the meat sauce if you do the wrong thing at this place. So the thing about this place is they have no menu. It's really crazy. Like they have no menu. You just go in, the owner sits with you and he's like, "What kind of food do you like?" And then you're like, "I like spaghetti." And he's like, "I've got the thing for you." And then he brings out spaghetti.
He gives you lasagna.
You're like, "No, it has to be long pasta. I don't want this flat, broad pasta."
This he just gives you stuff to fuck with you.
Yeah, and then you have to eat it.
Here's a steak.
You're like, "I'm a vegan. Don't worry, I got you." And then here's steak, some pork chops. And you can't offend the guy because he'll never get asked back to this very exclusive place. So therefore, you're just stuck there forever eating things you don't want. Oh, look at this. We have all these comments. I was looking at the wrong thing. I was looking at the private chat. Now I'm looking at the public comments. This is fun. Someone said, "Hey, David, something's different about you today. Did you brush your teeth?" And we got Marcy's here. Juskow would love to have your hair. That is true, Marcy. That is true. Catalina's here. We'll talk to you in a bit, Catalina. I know she was planning on not coming to the show tonight, but then because of our very special guest who will be here in a few minutes, Catalina is skipping class to be here right now. So we'll talk about that when he gets here. Yeah, that's serious because she was close to graduation, I think. And when we said that Rouse was exclusive, Scruffy Bones said, "Not as exclusive as this podcast." Ouch. That is a burn. Oh, man. And then Aaron H. asks, does the restaurant have a retired corrupt police commissioner? Which, as you know, must be a Godfather reference. You know, I'm sure Dave's going to go to the toilet and reach behind the flush thing to grab a gun and shoot whoever he has to shoot. It's all part of the plan. Are you Mike? Are you a picky eater? If a waiter said to you, "Hey, this is the food," You don't get to choose. This is what you're going to eat. Would you be okay with that?
I'm not a picky eater. I'm an adventurous eater. So
So you'd be good with this, no matter what. You'd be like, I'm there.
yeah, I mean, I trust it. It's famous for a reason. I'm pretty sure. There's some places I wouldn't do that, but this is one I would try it.
Yeah, I can see that. There are definitely some cafeteria style places, a Chinese buffet maybe, where you want to kind of like look at which ones you're getting, like what has been here the least amount of time, what's the freshest. I feel like I have to when I'm at a Chinese buffet, like I have such terrible luck. I always find bugs in my food, and I don't know if that's just because I'm looking close or if I'm just unlucky. Like, what do you think? You think what are the chances that a thing at a Chinese buffet has a little fly in it?
Oh God, I mean, it depends which one you're going to. I think you can tell from the outside if that's going to happen, though. So I kind of avoid those places.
I don't
If
know.
it's
I
a
feel like
door
restaurants
handle
are out to get
sticky,
me.
I don't go inside.
The last one I went to was in Ithaca, New York, so I don't know if that's the place for good Chinese food, but
I don't think it's a place good for anything, honestly.
they have more restaurants per capita than anywhere else, actually. Like, it's a huge restaurant, foodie kind of place, which is why you probably shouldn't go to the Chinese buffet. It's all
What?
gourmet, and then I'm going to the all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. That's just a mistake.
Oh, I didn't know that. How did it get that distinction?
All the restaurants?
Yeah.
I think it's because like you have Cornell University there, and so I don't know. A lot of the people who graduate there end up staying in the town, so you have like this sort of like a little bit more upscale than a typical country town. And I
Oh,
think they just like to eat. And also, Cornell has a restaurant and hotel management division. Like, there's a whole college just for that. So there's a lot of people who are focused on the food industry that go up there, and so they just feel like staying in that town and smoking pot and opening restaurants.
I figured it'd be all like Applebee's and stuff. I guess now I
They
know.
do have a good Applebee's also. That was my go-to place. When I was in college, I was all into Applebee's. I didn't know it was not a classy restaurant. I thought this place is great.
I had my wedding there.
So congrats. You're like, the wedding is from 10 to 11. That's when they have the half price apps.
Exactly.
Did you really have your wedding at an Applebee's?
No.
Okay. I was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't make fun of that. Maybe that's the thing. So there's people on Twitter who will like rip on people who will like some people will post something on Twitter like, oh, a great anniversary dinner at Olive Garden. And they mean it unironically because like for them, that's a nice restaurant. And then other people on Twitter will be like, oh my God, can you believe these jerks are eating at Olive Garden for a anniversary dinner? Like I would divorce that person immediately. And it's like such an elitist kind of attitude to have. Like for them, maybe that's a great restaurant. What do you know?
Yeah, I mean they're wrong, but that's you shouldn't go to Olive Garden for your anniversary, but you do need those places, and you don't need to like bring it out online. There's no point to that, but you need those chain restaurants not for like things like that, but for big family functions for the family you don't like.
Yeah, right. Or if you
Like
have
if
no
you're
family, because when you're here, you're family. So then you could feel like you have a real family
well,
with the
exactly.
waiters.
What I mean is like you have your favorite Italian restaurant. You don't want to take your whole family there if half of them you don't like, because then they know about it and they'll ruin it. You take them out to Applebee's or Olive Garden for grandma's birthday if everyone has to go.
Yeah, so when one person embarrasses you, you don't have to worry that you'll never get into rows again.
Exactly. You get your table taken away from you because one of your uncles wore flip flops. So
I wonder if that place has like a dress code where if Dave showed up tonight in flip flops, like where the waiter wouldn't say anything about it, but he'd go in the back and be like, "This jerk's wearing flip flops. We're gonna give him the day old meatballs."
I think they give him the old flip flop if they saw him in those.
They just toss him out the door.
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know, looking through all the photos, that everyone looks like they're in deleted scenes from Goodfellas. So
Yeah, I bet. And do they have like photos on the wall there, like of the famous people who have eaten there?
yeah, I mean, here's a picture real quick.
I always had this dream of Joe's Pizza is like one of my favorite pizza places, and I always wanted to. Oh yeah, there they are, and some guys singing to them.
Right there. Yeah, so
Look at that.
everyone that they deem famous is on the walls around them. This is back from '98, though.
Okay, I'm sure they've replaced some of those people who have been canceled since then.
Yeah. Rouse
Right,
is probably real big on cancel culture.
oh, they are. Yeah, they're a very woke old school Italian restaurant. They don't even serve spaghetti because actually pasta came from the Far East, and it would be cultural appropriation for them to do like Chinese food, basically. So it's only the real pure Italian food.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently the Clintons ate there. So
Yep, canceled.
yes.
Actually, that's the kind of place that would cancel the Clintons. That would be like, we're taking Hillary off our wall.
Yeah. Well, I know she's not there. It's just Bill. Never mind. So yeah, this place still makes sense.
It's Bill and two unnamed ladies. Much younger women were there with Bill that night.
Here we go. There's a better picture of the wall too.
Oh yeah.
Got Johnny Carson, Fidel Castro, I think, Dick Clark.
Oh, and I see Robert Goulet.
Yeah.
This is great. So
Yeah.
what I had this plan at Joe's Pizza. They always have pictures of everyone like famous on the wall there. And I was like, what I'm gonna do one day is go in with my own picture and just put it on the wall when they're not looking and see if they even notice. Because like, how would they know? But it's always a picture of them with Joe, the guy, the owner guy, right? So one night, I told my wife we were there like late at night, and that guy was there. He's not always there, and I was like, "Can you pretend to take a picture of me, like that I'm a food blogger or something, right? And I'm gonna take a picture with this Joe guy." So we got a picture of me with him, and I was like, "Oh, can I hold the pizza box and I'll take a picture with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So I had it all set up to do it, but then I never like followed through with this great plan, unfortunately, which I think would have been the greatest thing in the world. Just to see like how long would anyone notice? And then also what I wanted to do afterwards, like to film it like undercover, like to go and stand near people while they're eating there, and they're like, "Oh, look, there's George Clooney and there's Brad Pitt, and who's this guy?" And see if who they thought I was. Yeah, this wall of pictures.
I think the move is to just take your face and paste it over one of the pictures.
That could work too. They have some that look kind of sketchy like that I am curious about. But they're all in these like really crappy frames that you can get at like Joanne Fabric or whatever. What is it, Michael's?
Yeah.
It's like a plastic black frame. It's not like you have to get the official Joe's frame and they would know it's fake. You just gotta paste it on there. I think everyone should try to do this, honestly.
I do like the idea of the official Joe's frame. There's a guy in the back making them next to the guy who makes the pizza boxes.
Yeah. You're like, I'll have a large cheese pizza and 2 Joe's frames.
The official frames.
These are the official Joe's frame, except no substitutes. Don't get that Ray's frame. That's fake. It's not the real thing. Meanwhile, we have Aunt Judy is here. Aunt Judy, welcome. I was really surprised. I wasn't sure if you would show up when Dave wasn't here. I didn't know if Aunt Judy was only here to support the family or if she would also support Dave adjacent people.
Our guest is here.
Oh, excellent.
Hey,
Let us bring him in.
Sorry about that.
Eric Neuman is here.
I was actually doing Earthquakes podcast and it ran over. So I'm going from the blackest podcast to the whitest podcast.
That is right. We're going to run so under. We're already we started 10 minutes early. Like that's just how on time we are here.
What's Earthquakes podcast called? I hope it's a fun pun.
It's called Quake's House.
Yeah.
I thought it would be called like Shake Things Up or something like that.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Maybe that was the name they didn't go with that they should have.
They got to start from scratch now. That's got to be the name. Just rebrand the whole thing. So let me introduce our guest for this evening. Eric Neuman is here with us. Eric was recently on The Tonight Show. Pretty exciting. Not with Johnny Carson, but with, I think, the host right after, Jay Leno. Is that correct?
It was. No, it was that brief time that Conan had it.
Yes, Conan. Yeah, that's the guy. No, you're on with Jimmy Fallon just 2 months ago, and you just released a brand new album of crowd work, which is very difficult to do, called But Enough About Me. Welcome, Eric Neuman.
Thank you, Elon. Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it, man. Great to see you guys. Yeah, no, it's great. We just put it out on Friday. Went #1. And we're gonna have a weekend spinning on Sirius pretty soon, and I'm excited about it, man. It's like it was fun because I've been headlining a lot, and like I do a lot of crowd work when I headline now, and also when I hosted the Cellar like most nights of the week, alongside Elon Altman now.
Hey.
I do a lot of it. So like I use those clips and I cut them up and I put them on and on like Instagram and stuff. But anyway, so when I headline now, I'm doing like a real combo of jokes and crowd work. And so I decided, I'm like, let me just give myself the task of just like, I feel really comfortable with it. So I'm like, let me just try to do 35, 40 minutes of just no jokes. And it was good. I think it was like sort of a real good representation of sort of like what I'm doing now. And it, you know, I love it. It kind of like worked itself out as far as having like a cohesive story arc throughout, you know, like it sort of like circled back to the beginning at the end. And I was really happy with it. So we're going to put it out as a YouTube special, but right now it's on audio. So that's it. But enough about me.
No, we want to hear more about you. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what it's called. Damn it, I fell for it. So when you did the taping for it, did you have like, was it an early show and a late show, or did you have one shot at it?
Just one time. I did it for the New York Comedy Festival at New York Comedy Club in the East Village. Sold out show. They were awesome. It was a lot of fans of mine, so I think they sort of just knew what to expect. And yeah, it was great, man. I was really happy with it. We did a little musical number at the end, so I didn't see that coming, but it happened, and it was a lot of fun.
How did that happen? What kind of musical number?
We did Dancing Queen. So there was a couple of two gay dudes in the front, and I was messing with them in the beginning, and then at the end, someone like said like, I don't know what happened, but I was talking to somebody and they said something about how they love music, and I was like, oh, I love singing. I love karaoke. I wish I would sing right now. And people were like, sing. And I was like, all right, like fine, whatever. And I ended up going back to the gay dude and I was like, do any of you sing? And he's like, yeah, I actually like kind of professionally sang. I was like, what? So we kind of went up together and like sang Dancing Queen, which was it was pretty amazing.
That's pretty cool. So did that make it onto the album?
It did, and now I'm getting sued for everything I'm worth. But
yeah. ABBA's taking all your money. You have no royalties for this at all.
Totally worth it, though, man.
You blew it. That's pretty cool. So when you did this show, though, like how much of it ends up on the album? Like, did you do like an hour set and 40 minutes gets to the album, or is basically the whole album what happened that night?
Well, here's the thing. No, we cut it a little. It was like, I'd say probably I did around 38 and we ended up going with like 31, 32. There were just like a few interactions that dragged on a little, not as tight and punchy. Like when I do crowd work, I want it to be like question, response for me, boom, 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 like just real tight. Sort of the way I look at joke writing is the way I sort of like visualize crowd work. Just sort of like a lot of punches, not that much space between laughs. So when I felt like there were a couple interactions, either it was my fault because I couldn't come up with something quick enough, or they were boring as shit, like whatever, or something just sort of dragged on a little to an uninteresting place, we cut it. So we really have it in a tight spot now. It's really like boom, 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 boom. So I'm happy about it, you know?
Yeah, no, that's really cool. That's pretty good that you only had to edit out like just a few of those, because that means you're hitting like 90% basically, you know, because you're doing this like every night. You become so good at this. And you know, you post these clips online, which are getting huge. Even in Chile, we have our friend Catalina here, who is a huge fan of yours. She actually, Catalina's like an engineering student at the university there, and she had class tonight and was going to skip the show. And then when she found out that you were the guest, she's cutting class to see you right now, actually.
Oh my God, that means so much. Thank you. How did you know that Catalina knew who I was?
Well, Catalina is a big fan of our Billy Joel podcast, and I forget what it was. I posted something. I shared your album on my Instagram, and then she wrote like, "Oh my God, he's my favorite person," which I'm sure if Dave knew that she said that, he would be really upset because.
How did they make you? How did the rest of you guys feel? Honestly,
they seem to like you. I think overall it seems positive. Aunt Judy, that's Dave's Aunt Judy. She's appreciating you right now.
Beautiful. Where's Dave? Yeah. I don't understand what's going on here. Where is he?
So yeah, you missed it. Dave is not here tonight because he is at dinner with Esty at Rouse, that Italian restaurant that's like very hard to get into.
Yeah, that's the one that like people can't get in. It's also the one where like a mob guy killed some dude for heckling a singer because like he was related to her or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow.
That's good history.
Oh my God. He's going to dinner with Esty. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's there with Esty and also other friends of the Cellar and of this podcast, Keith Robinson and Marina Franklin.
Ooh, good crew.
So a nice little foursome, nice crew. And so he has bequeathed the show to me and to you and to Mike for tonight. So it's like the young guys are finally running the asylum, you know?
Where's Mike? I don't see Mike.
Yeah, I'm just a producer.
What's up, man? You're not just a producer, Mike. You are the producer, baby.
Oh, thank you. Here's the guy who did that murder.
I thought Mike was like, here's me. Not looking good, Mike.
It was Louis
Like,
Lump
I
Barone.
saw you a week ago. What happened, dude?
Louis Lump Barone killed Albert Cervelli.
Yeah. Did you guys know about this story? And Elon seemed like he was hearing it for the first time. Like, did you hear it? Did you hear rumblings of that story before, or did I just put you onto that?
I had heard about it, but I didn't know that this was the restaurant or anything like that. So
it's wild, man. It was like apparently like they just heckled the singer, and like he was like, and the guy just fucking killed in front of everybody, dude. So crazy.
Wow, comedians, like we're all like really proud of this guy. Actually, like don't arrest this man. There was a heckler and he killed that person. We all really appreciate that.
Dude, imagine we just have him as security for every show. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, just like gun in his belt that he just shows randomly whenever someone's being chatty.
Dude, I would have definitely had him murder this woman in Ireland. I just came back from London and Dublin, and the shows were amazing, dude. Like, but there was the Late Show in Dublin was really, really rowdy, and the problem is now it's like when like now I'm at a point where a lot of times when I'm headlining, it's a lot of my fans. So I have to be like more sensitive towards that because I'm like they've been following me, they want to see me, whatever. Whereas like I used to go to some like shitty like club in Pennsylvania and it'd be like a rowdy crowd and I'd curse them out no problem, like and put them in place. But now it's like people who have actually come to see me, so I have to be a little more sensitive to it. So there was this girl, man, who was testing me, dude. She was shouting out the whole show, and I would have definitely had him murder her. But the other thing is, my buddy Frank came with me and he didn't know. So Frank wasn't on that Late Show. He like went outside to the bar or whatever. And so after the show, he didn't know that she was the one that was heckling me. He ended up hanging out with her and talking to her and bringing her everywhere we went. So it was like, usually you leave a heckler behind. You're like, I fucking hate that woman, but I'm out of here and I just get rid of it. It was like a Louis FX episode, dude. The heckler was following me everywhere the whole night. And I was like, it was just fucking, oh my God, dude.
He's going to marry her. And then you're going to be like the best man at this wedding. They're going to be like, does anyone object? And you're like, yes, I definitely object to this marriage. Yeah. This woman was calling out and was drunk. How dare she?
Fucking worse, dude.
Do you find that you get more people who like call out because they see your clips online? They know that you like to talk to the crowd. Do they want to be part of it?
You know what's interesting, Lon? Like you would think it would happen way more, but I'm also like very, very, very big on respecting comedians, and I think I've made like a very big point to let everybody who followed me know that like you need to respect the comic on stage, and then I'm very much of the mindset that it's like if a comic should be able to go up there for an hour and not say a single word to the audience if they don't want to, and a lot of my friends are like that, and so it's always got to be in the comedian's choice as to what happens on stage, as to what happens in the room. So. And I think I've even as many clips as I've posted of like me fucking around with people in the crowd and having a good time, I've also posted a lot of clips of me like reprimanding people who like have gotten out of line. So like, I think my followers have an idea. It's like, okay, we let him dictate what happens and we don't take control of the situation. And so like, I think most of the time they're on board for that. Obviously this one fucking fell through the cracks, but most of
Yeah. Well, that makes sense though, because I think a lot of the clips you post are you're definitely initiating the conversation. You're asking them, "Are you guys together?" Whatever it is, versus the kind of comic who posts a comedian destroys heckler, where someone's calling out and then they have like this awkward interaction. Like your things are clearly, and I guess your audience can tell that like it's like they're waiting for you to talk to them, and then they're excited about it.
Exactly, and I don't. And the other thing is like, don't like when I decide to do 5 minutes, 7 minutes of jokes or 10 minutes of jokes, don't say anything. Listen, and so I'm very big. I had a buddy, I've been using a crew of rotating comics who come, like open on the road, and like good friends of mine, super funny comics, Mark Gerber, Dan Altana, whatever. And I brought a comic to open for me in Portland at Helium. It's one of the best clubs like on the road. I love it. And these two women in the front kept saying like, "Where's Eric?" the whole time. And I got him kicked out because I was like, I don't want that. Like I was the guy opening for people for so long, and you respect the comic on stage. So I don't care that they want to see me. You're shouting shit out and you're being disruptive. So you're out. So I told security to kick him out. Dude, this woman fucking threatened to hit me with a lawsuit because I kicked her out of my own show. Now
What would she
guess
sue you
what,
for?
now guess what religion she was, Elon.
Oh, these Muslim ladies, they are tricky. Was she a Jew from Portland?
She was a Jew from Portland.
Oh man, not making us look good, huh?
Not in Portland.
No. Oh, geez. I mean, what could she even sue you for, though? You kicked her out of a show, so what? You ruined her night. She sues you for $40.
I've been waiting for this for so long. Well, then fucking respect the comment. Also, anybody who's shouting out "Where's Eric" during one of my other friends' set is gonna be bad for Eric.
Right.
You
She's
know?
already so wasted or unruly. It's not going to be a
Yeah,
good part of the show. Yeah, you
exactly.
don't need. You have enough fans now. You don't need these kind of people. You don't have to hang on to this crazy lady and worry about offending her. Get her out of there. You're right.
Yeah, but between getting sued by her and ABBA, I'm done, dude. I have no money left.
Yeah, I know. That's tough, man. Those Swedish bands, they are litigious. I just learned that word.
You know what's so funny? I have a podcast with my buddy Marcus Monroe, and we're number 33 in Sweden. So the other day, I'm at the Dublin show. I asked this guy in the audience, "Where are you from?" And he goes, "Sweden." I go, "You know, my podcast is number 33 in Sweden. Have you listened to it?" And he goes, "It's actually a really funny line." He goes, "No, I stopped listening after 32." It was like a funny. It made me laugh. I'm like, how often does an audience member actually give you something that's pretty funny? You know?
Yeah, they all try. They all want to be the clever one, but that is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's these Swedes, man. They're actually really, despite that this is not their first language, they're really, really good at English. It's really disheartening for us, I think.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah. By the way, Cellar Nightly. This is what I did a lot of times during the pandemic. Is this still the same show?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a weekly show called The Cellar Nightly.
But it was the same thing, Mike. It was the same one that Liz was booking, right?
Yeah. Now it's just me and Dave. We just took care of it. Do it once a week now.
Got it.
Yeah, you
Cool.
hosted a few times.
Yeah, those were great, dude. That was like the only. That's when I first learned that Liz didn't hate me. I don't know if I've fully learned that yet, even, but that's where my first inclination of her not hating me was that she booked me on that show. I was like, oh my god, like she and Liz and I, dude, I literally, Liz is one of the best human beings imaginable, and she would literally throw up right now if she heard me say this because she can't take anything nice from me at all. But Liz is goddamn what a fucking gangsta and a lady. She
All right,
is.
We're gonna cut this clip and send it to her, so you'll get all the brownie points you need.
Oh,
for
love
that.
that! Yeah, send it.
Yeah.
Dude. You know, I told Liz. I swear to God, dude. I go to Liz. I go. I was talking to my therapist the other day, and I said that one of the biggest moments in my life was when I realized that you didn't hate me. I said to her, she's like, whatever. Anyway,
It is nice though. Those people who seem like tough nuts to crack, when you find out that they actually kind of like you, it's like so much more rewarding. It's like Simon Cowell on American Idol. Like no one cares at all if Paula Abdul thought they were good. They just want to wait for Simon to be like, that wasn't half bad.
Exactly. And like that's the whole culture of the Cellar, man. Like that's what I've realized. It's like just because I've been there, I'm about to be there 3 years, which I can't. I was talking to Val about this last night. Can't believe it's been 3 years. Like the whole culture there is just like when you get a compliment, you have earned it, man. Like they are not throwing it out at all, you know? And that's what makes it the best. That's why, and I was talking to Val about how like my first 6 months there, I was just like a nervous wreck every second. Like every second I thought I was getting kicked out, like no matter what. Like if I went to the bathroom and like was a minute longer than I should have, I thought I was getting kicked out. Right? Like, and like I'm like, that's what makes the Cellar so great is that people know how they comics strive to want to do so great there and like be on the game so much that that's what makes it number one, you know? And hopefully it never loses that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I've only been there for 1 week now, and I can already sense it just feels different. And it feels like, yeah, everyone's there with their A game. Everyone is trying to make this the best show possible. And it was cool. It felt like real camaraderie right away. Also, I was really nervous about the whole, like, can I sit at the table? All that kind of stuff when it's your first week there. But it was very welcoming. I was glad about that.
Yeah, no, she's just the best, dude. What a, like, just a legend, you know?
Yeah, no, she is. And we'll also send her the clip of you saying that as well.
You don't like it. Dude, I sent SD this art. I texted SD. I go, there was this article about her, like the goddess of the queen of comedy. It came out like it was on Instagram, like on this account that had like 2 million followers or whatever. So a lot of people saw it. And so like the queen of comedy and just basically like talked. It was just like a slideshow of her, like Chris Rock and Chappelle and like all these guys, you know, Eric Newman, like all the greats, you know. And I send it to Esty and I go, hey Esty, like I saw this. This is awesome. And she just goes, I don't like it. And I was like, well, that's the end of this conversation.
Don't ask why.
I actually did. I go like, why not? And I knew 100% she wasn't going to write back.
So she ghosted you now.
Here's the best part. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to do shit.
Right. You're not going to think less of her because she didn't text you back.
It's Esty, dude. You can't. That's it.
That power.
Oof.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure next week on this show we'll hear about Dave's dinner with SD.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, I hope we get a good scoop about it. You know, what did he eat? What did she eat? Was it interesting?
He goes with her. He's close with her, right?
He what?
He's close with her.
Yeah, they have a cool relationship. It's kind of a fun thing, actually. Like they're buddies. You know, like you said, she's kind of can be intimidating, I guess, to some people. But her and Dave, they seem to have something. Everyone loves Dave, so you know, as everyone here knows, Dave is a character, and you know, he it's similar to Esty. I think when Dave Juskow likes you, you feel pretty good about it, because when he doesn't like you, you definitely find out in a very vicious way.
When he doesn't like you, you find out by him not joining the podcast that you're on.
Yeah, he was like, wait, Eric Newman's going to be on tonight? I got some dinner plans. Somehow I'm busy.
It's hilarious.
Oh, man. So when are you at the Cellar next?
I'm there tomorrow night and Thursday night. Then Friday, Saturday, I'm in Michigan. And then I'm only back in New York Sunday and Monday. But dude, I sent my avails in for Sunday and Monday in London and at the airport, and it didn't go through. I just found out today. I was like, didn't get any spots, and then I checked my sent mail and it never went through. And I apologized to Esty. She's like, oh, you know, she's like, no problem, whatever. I was like, because the Cellar's I look at the Cellar as my full-time job. You know, like I go on the road and whatever, but the Cellar is my day in, day out job. I look at it as a profession. So when I'm available for a week, I tell her, you know, and like whatever. So I apologize, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay." And then I'm going to the West Coast for 2.5 weeks. I'm doing San Francisco, LA, and then doing Cellar Vegas for a week, and then doing a private gig in Napa, and then I'm coming back the 20th. So
that's awesome, man. You're on the road a ton now, and those are cool gigs. Napa, you know, California. Yeah. You're not doing some crappy places anymore. You're living it up.
It's been good, man. I'm really appreciative, man. I, you know, finally starting to move. So you know, I got to be thankful for that.
Now, you talk about your mom a lot. How does she feel about you being on the road so much? Because she's a protective Jewish mom.
Dude, I was talking to Val about this last night. Val's the manager of the Cellar, who I love to death. I was telling her, I was like, my mom literally said, why can't you be at the Cellar every night for the rest of your life? Like, literally, that's what she wants me to do. And I was like, Mom, I'm not going to be able to make, you know, whatever. She's like, I don't want you flying. She hates when I fly, dude. She literally hates it. She asked me, I'm doing a Florida trip in July. She told me to take a 24-hour train there.
Yeah, that's a bit much. You're like John Madden. She wants you to be in a bus going cross country.
Exactly.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's
well,
rough, man.
You should take her on the road with you. That'll make her maybe more calm if she's there with you on the plane.
It won't make me more calm.
Now, Eric, are you single right now? What's your love life like?
Yeah, dude, I'm single, man. I'm like really focused on stand-up, and I sort of said to myself, I'm like, if something really blows me away, like I'll entertain it. But other than that, I'm just kind of you know, content being, you know, focusing on all this stuff. And yeah, I was in a long-term relationship, didn't work out, and because of various things that I did. But now I'm sort of just like, all right, like I'm expanding my comedy business, and yeah, again, if somebody, you know, I've been having fun being single, hasn't been anything serious at all, but and that's sort of just the way it's going to stay unless I'm like, oh, this is worth it, you know?
Yeah,
So-
like for example, if there was like an engineer from Chile, for example, maybe that would change your mind.
Just one example, nothing specific. Just the general. Yeah. That's what it says I'm looking for on my dating app.
Oh, too late. Catalina says I don't date Jewish guys because of their moms.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is good advice. But she didn't say that. She said I don't date Jew guys, which is very
Jew guys.
different.
Yeah, don't call us Jew guys, Catalina. That's it sounds too derogatory.
I don't date people who refer to me as a Jew guy either. So it works out.
Maybe she's talking like in Scarface, like Jew guys want to do something.
Oh, you're right. That is it.
Oh, good. She's laughing. So, Eric, you have good taste in movies. I know you have one of my favorite jokes about Terminator 2. Have you liked any movies lately?
That was the last movie I liked, man.
Yeah, that's good. You don't want to see anything else beyond that. 1991 was the last movie you saw.
Let's see. What have I seen lately that I really love? Dude, I used to see every single movie. Now it's impossible to see every single movie because there's a million, ways to distro movies. So there's a million more movies. But what have I seen lately that I love, movie-wise? I really like Parasite. I know that's 2 years old now, but that's probably the last one like I really, really liked. Are we talking about just like this year or just in general?
I don't know. In general, I'm trying to think something that I want to watch because I haven't seen anything good lately.
Have you seen Whiplash? Please tell me yes.
Yeah, but that's a few years old now, right? That's the drumming movie.
Yeah. I watched it again the other night. Oh my god, dude, so fucking good. I want there to be another Black Mirror season, man. I'm obsessed with Black Mirror.
Yeah,
Have you watched
Black
that?
Mirror is good. Yeah. I like that show a lot. I love that kind of real twisted, like not necessarily sci-fi, but like just like dystopian future kind of stuff, which we're sort of living in right now. So a lot of those Black Mirror episodes feel very real.
Yeah, dude, I know, that's great. Black Mirror, you were like, I can't believe that there's no way that could happen, and now it's like happening.
Yeah.
Um,
Like even the very first
Not
one.
bad.
What?
I love how your wife keeps sneaking around the back.
I can't do
Yeah.
virtual background, so that's Sarah. Catalina called it out in the chat. She said hi. Sarah, Catalina says hi.
I think I saw Sarah at Stand Up New York recently.
No, it was someone else.
No, I saw Sarah recently, dude.
Not at Stand Up New York. She comes to like
Maybe-
one show a month, maybe.
Hold on, not Stand Up New York, but I definitely saw her since like in the last few months. I saw her.
Yeah, that could be.
But wait, let me think. What are they gonna
What are we
say?
talking about? Oh, Black Mirror. Like the very first Black Mirror episode, right? Was like that politician who has to have sex with a pig.
Fucking
Like,
awesome.
you can definitely see that happening in real life, honestly.
Yeah, I've jerked off to that episode so many times.
It was so hot. Yeah, just
Yeah.
I was looking at the guy and the pig. I mean, you couldn't figure out which one was hotter.
Tough, dude.
It was good stuff. Speaking of
What about-
weird stuff going on in the world, did you see what do you think about the Elon Musk owning Twitter now? What do you think is going to happen with that?
I think that I'm still going to remain at 1,300 followers no matter who owns it. So
Yeah, actually, when Dave Juskow posted he tweeted today like about the show and he like tagged you, then he called me up. He was like, Eric doesn't have a big Twitter thing, does he? And I was like, no, he's huge on like Instagram and TikTok, but I guess
Yeah,
you've just
dude, isn't
decided
that
not to
amazing?
do Twitter.
every platform is its own like judgment. Like you're like, because like I have like a big following on TikTok. I have a pretty big one on Instagram. Twitter, I was never able to take off at all, dude. Nothing. Like if I have like 5 likes on a tweet, I'm like, oh my God, what a fucking day. Like I literally wasn't able to take off at all. It's just interesting. You kind of just have to find what works for you, you know? Like it just never worked. Dude, you know what I remember? I remember my biggest platform for a while, sadly, was just Facebook. Like I would like, but like just like status updates. Like remember we were just doing those for a long time?
No, you were huge on Facebook. Like you somehow, that algorithm loved you or you figured it out, but you would post a status update on Facebook and get like hundreds of likes. And then I'd post one and get like 7. And I was like, what is Eric Neuman doing? And like you just figured out how to get that snowball rolling on Facebook.
Yeah, but now I'm getting 7.
Yeah, but that's normal because like who else is on? No one's on Facebook anymore.
On
And
Facebook anymore. Yeah. But dude, let's think about it. You said I was hot on Facebook. I figured out the algorithm, but a status would get 250 likes. Like that's not going anywhere. You're not getting anything out of that.
Yeah, but mostly like Facebook was so limiting because you had just your 5,000 friend max, and generally like things wouldn't kind of go out to the masses beyond that. Even if you made a public post, it wouldn't really get seen by too many people outside of
Right.
your group, except unless they shared it a lot. It just isn't normal on that. Whereas on Twitter or Instagram, things just go huge really fast.
Yeah, for sure. Faster than people deserve it.
Definitely. Yeah, there's some people you're like, how is this person this popular? What is going on
Yeah,
here?
but you know what though, man? Like, who's that? Was on Matt Broussard about this yesterday? Yeah. Like, you can get a video that goes viral fine. You could be a 6-month comic who just you talk into the camera, people love it, gets a million views, whatever. But you're not going to give it a headline. What are you going to do? Yeah. And by the way, Elon, I really think this. I think that with the amount of content that's out there, I actually think you stand out more being really funny. Like, because there's so much shit. And the thing is, dude, people have access to like great comedy. They know what Chappelle's Netflix specials are about. They know what, like, they've watched like, Burr's new special, Rock's new special, Louis. It's like they know great comedy. It's out there. Like it exists. The bar has been set. So they're not going to be coming out to see like a 6-month comic because they know the difference. And maybe they will, but they won't come back.
Right. They'll come once. Like those guys you'll see. They'll be headlining Caroline's or some road room, and then what are they? They have no act. They're showing videos or something like that. That's the difference between someone like that and someone like you, who like actually is a seasoned comedian and has a big following. Where you'll actually have repeat customers. Like you probably have people who come out to see you multiple times when you're in their city, right?
Dude, it's amazing. I went to a lot of these places I'm going for the first time as a comic and as a visitor. Like, so I did a whole Texas tour in February. I did Austin at the Vulcan, where it's Joe Rogan's spot, Tony Hinchcliffe and Rogan's spot. I did Houston, Fort Worth, and San Antonio, and there were like a handful of people who came to 3 out of the 4, and told me they were like, the show was different every time. Like, your comedy's not worth that much unless you have return customers who then tell their friends, like, I want you got to go see this guy. Every city I go to once a year, I'm hoping that it's going to be double or triple the amount as the time before, like, because someone came with their husband once, and then the next time they're coming with their husband and 2 other couples. It's like, because they enjoy the show that much. You got to see this guy. Like, that's what it's about. So it's like the following is worth a lot to an extent, but what really counts is your rewatch value.
Yeah, right. You got to deliver.
And that's what the Cellar, every comic at the Cellar has rewatch value, or SD wouldn't allow them to be rewatched. It's like, and that's the difference between being a grinded out New York guy. That's why I was so happy for you when you got into the Cellar, dude, because it really is a club that monitors how you do on stage. In a world of comedy right now, where specifically that seems to be a smaller priority, as opposed to social media following, TV show, whatever.
Yeah.
So
No, that's true. And it's yeah, I was so happy and thankful to you. You gave me great advice also when I was getting ready for my audition and everything, and getting ready for my first hosting spot last week. And I was so lucky. I was so happy today to find out that I had spots for next week, because I was, of course, like as a comic, you're always like, oh, that was it. That was my one shot. Now I'm gone. So I'm like, all right, at least I last for 2 weeks, and then we'll see week by week. And hopefully it all keeps working out, because it really is so nice and such a dream come true to be working there, because like I'm a New Yorker, just like you're a New Yorker. And like when you grow up in New York, like you always know the Comedy Cellar is like the place. And I used to go there when I was like 16, 17 and sneak in to see shows, and I would get kicked out, because I was underage. And so it's kind of surreal to be at that place actually as a performer, which I never would have believed if I told myself that as a teenager.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like when you first start, all of these goals seem impossible. Like you're like, how am I gonna get on this? How am I gonna, like? It just seems you're just like it just seems like ludicrous, you know. But when you're living it every single day, working towards goals, focused, it doesn't seem as astonishing when you get it because you've worked for it.
Right, you're
So
not taking one gigantic leap all of a sudden. Like you've been gradually getting better all that time, and you don't even notice how much time has passed, except when you look back and think like, "Oh my gosh, it's been so many years now." And
yeah,
yeah, if you had told your young self you're gonna have to struggle at this for at least 10 years and doing crappy shows, and then maybe you get a shot at like something better, you would be like, well, I don't know if it's worth that kind of struggle. Because we all think when we start that we're amazing and that within 2 years we're gonna have it all figured out. And it rarely works out on that kind of timeline.
you know, and I actually think that for the most part, the people who really, I, this isn't like a blanket statement, but I would say the vast majority of the people who are really good in the beginning are the ones who quit sooner. Because I think what you realize is that no matter how good you are, it's going to be a lot of work. And when you're like, I knew I had a lot of work to do when I started. Like, I was like, I knew how to get laughs, but I still was aware of the fact that like I need to like become a tighter joke writer. Like, you know, like there were things I had to work on. And um, and I think that became my goal, as opposed to like somebody who came in that was just like amazing. And there were a few people we knew like that, right? Who just sort of came in and were incredible. And I think once things start, they were like, oh, I'm going to be a star tomorrow. And then once tomorrow came and they weren't, it was like discouraging. And they were like, fuck it, I'm out. And that happened to a lot of my friends. And then I legitimately, I am like, of the people I really started with closely, I'm probably like 2 of 50 that are still doing comedy.
Yeah, that's amazing. But I was thinking back recently, like the people I used to do the comic strip late night with, which you used to do before me. You were a late night comic there,
Yeah.
and how many of them are just out of it completely, and then how many of them are doing great and are like at the Cellar now, which is so cool. Also, like, so it really, yeah, some of them just fade away. They've gone on to other pursuits besides comedy, and you know, other ones for some reason because we're like all deranged, we stick with this thing and allow ourselves to be, you know, tortured basically on a nightly basis thinking about jokes and words.
Yeah, but I think that you're 100% right. I think that it's not even a choice though. Like I think for the people who decide this is what I'm doing, they don't decide. Like it's just they have to do it. So it's like I'm the hardest, like of my crew, like my close friends of comedy, and a lot of people don't even know my close friends of comedy. Like that'll give you an idea, sort of, like you know them, but
Yeah,
a
and
lot of
they're
people.
all great. They're all some of my favorite comedians, actually.
It's so funny, dude. Dan Altano, fucking killer. He's like really like becoming a
Yeah,
real killer. Gerber's fucking hilarious. But Gerber, like, you know, Gerber's like, he just tells me, he's like, it's not my first priority. No problem. That's fine. Um, you know, he's outward about that. You know, it's not like I'm like talking shit or whatever. Like he says that he's got,
sure.
you know, he's a very like successful like psychologist. He's got his own private practice. You know, he's one of the funniest human beings alive. But he's just like, what it takes to be really, really successful in comedy is like talent meets an unbelievable amount of hard work. Like just like a real rigid focused work ethic. And so when someone says to me like I'm quitting, first of all, two things. When someone says to me I'm quitting or I find out they quit, I don't have to ask why. I'm in comedy. I know why you quit comedy. I know like the 10,000 reasons why you would quit comedy. You don't have to tell me. And if someone who's like wants to get into comedy asks me for coffee and ask me about it, what my experiences are and what I think it takes to get to a certain level, I tell them straight up. I'm like, this is what it is going to take for you to, unless you're Che, which is or Pete, which are literally two of you know every, I don't know, 100, 200,000 comics,
Yeah.
whatever it is, maybe more, a million, whatever. It's going to be endless grind. And if you to get to and then nothing's still guaranteed. I mean, how many people do you know who grind every night? We're still at the same mics that we started at 13 years ago. I mean,
Right.
a lot.
Still grinding, not really progressing.
Not
Because luck is
progressing.
part of it too. They're
Luck's part
working
of it.
hard, and maybe they're really, really funny, but you got to be in the right place at the right time sometimes.
For sure. And then maybe they just don't have that quality that people want or whatever it is. Like, but I tell them, I mean, I don't put any fluff on it, man. Like if a young comic is getting into it, he's 22 years old, he's out of college and he wants to know what it's like to do stand-up, I'll tell him, I'm like, you love hanging out with all your friends every night, you're not going to see them. You have all these hobbies that you're really into. You love going golfing, bowling, you're part of that bowling league, whatever, quit it. Like you see your family, you like to have downtime and just sit on the couch and do nothing every night, done. You like reading all the time or you like watching TV every night, like you do other things, but everything is going to just surround that initial, everything surrounding the main focus of stand-up forever. And everything's just sort of circulating that. And if you're not willing to make that sacrifice, then just be a hobby comic who gets up every once in a while and enjoys it.
Yeah, I was like that for the first few years that I was doing this, before you knew me, but like way back in the 2000s, before the 2010s, I was what I would call a hobby comic. I was mainly very lazy. I liked sitting on the couch and doing nothing. Inertia is hard to get up and go to a mic when you're already home. You're just like, I'm tired. I want to just stay here. So I'll be doing just a few shows a year, like nothing. I didn't know what was happening. And then I like buckled down and started like in earnest. And, and that's been a long process now. But I think back to those years when I was doing nothing, and it's really hard to get yourself to move, And so, that's good advice.
I remember there was a moment, and I think I've told this story a few times, like throughout the years, but, when I started when I was 20 and I was cocky and this, and people had issues with me, and I stole a couple jokes and just all the shit that you do when you're 20. I mean, I'm a fucking idiot, right? And I remember, and then so I learned harsh lessons there. And then from about 21, 22 to 24, I was like doing one show a week, 2 shows a week, maybe something like that, real steady pace, which if you ask the normal person, like, what do you think of me doing 1-2 shows a week? They're like, that's a lot of comedy, but comics know, right? So I remember I was about 24, 25, and I went to stand up New York, and Michelle Wolf was doing like a one-nighter there. And Anthony DeVito was opening, and I had known Anthony DeVito from the Strip, from late night. So I asked him, I was like, how often do you get up, by the way? And he goes, every night. And it wasn't that he said every night, it was the way he said it. He said it like, I eat 3 meals a day, I drink water, I sleep, and I do comedy. Like that's what we do. Like that's part of life now. And just sort of the way he said it, like I was like, I really took it very strongly and seriously. And I was like, I got to do it every night. So I did it every night. And now, now I take, maybe I do 5 or 6 a week, I'll give myself a night off kind of thing, because things have changed, I'm traveling and this and that. But yeah, it's the same mentality, man. It's just grind away all the time. You're always grinding. I'm grinding. I have the same, actually my grind is probably exemplified by like it's far larger and bigger than it was years ago. It's a different grind, but it's still a grind. And it's like, I'm just grinding out differently than I was, it used to be like mic to mic, bringer show to bringer show, bar show to bar show. Now it's like city to city and, but it's still the grind,
Yeah. Now, which is more exhausting, the mic to mic kind of grind or the flying everywhere every weekend you're somewhere else?
It feels way more rewarding to do what I'm doing now than what it did back then. Just because like I feel like more mentally healthy about comedy. Like I'm truly like having a good time doing it. And I think that's come with age and therapy, a lot of therapy. I think I'm really able to sort of enjoy the process more than I was back in the day. I think I was really just like living every night, like what's going to happen to my career next? Am I going to get something? Am I going to get something? And I've really learned to sort of zoom in on the moment now and be like, this is what we're doing tonight. Enjoy tonight, and tomorrow's tomorrow. And like, I think that's sort of why I'm just, yeah, the combination of like, I guess the ascension in my career and the fact that like I know how to sort of like handle things emotionally better has like made it a much like more fulfilling time in my life and career, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's evident. You seem like the kind of comic who actually has like their head on straight and isn't like insane. Like you actually like there's very few comics who feel like they have normal lives, and I feel like you're one of those guys. So take that as a big compliment. And I think we probably should wrap it up. We're getting close to the 7 o'clock hour here. Eric, do you have anything you want to plug or any of those dates which you mentioned earlier, but you can mention again?
Yeah, so I have a lot of dates coming up on the road. You can check them out at ericnewmancomedy.com or at I'm Eric Newman on Instagram or TikTok. But I do want to specifically point out I'm doing 4 headlining shows. I'm doing a weekend in my hometown of New York City, baby. July 29th to 30th at City Winery. There's 4 shows. We're about somewhere between a third and half full already, and it's not even May. And they're happening July 29th to 30th. So if you want to come, please get tickets as quickly as you can at ericnewmancomedy.com. I expect all of them to sell out. I will be miserable if they don't, so please do that.
Yeah, you guys should definitely do that. And I'll give my own little plugs here before we wrap up. I am at the Comedy Cellar this Friday and Saturday. Very excited about that. And if you're in Buffalo, New York, I'll be headlining Rob's Comedy Playhouse May 13th and 14th. So come on up to that. Eric, you've done that room before, right?
I did do that room. I did it. You know what's so funny, dude? I did it. I was there. It was a headlining week. I got there Friday, right? First, it was about to be the first show of the weekend. And I got an email from SD. Are you available to audition tomorrow? And I was literally thinking about canceling the weekend and going back. But I was like, I can't do that to Rob. It's one of my first, I wasn't headlining much at that point. So it was like such a big deal. And I obviously want to, I'm not honoring my, commitment. But dude, I was like, any other time, please. I'm always here. Whatever. Anyway, so the weekend after I ended up auditioning for SD and I passed. But yeah, Rob's Comedy Playhouse, man, you guys should definitely come out because that guy, what a great room. That's the room you record an album in. It's a great room. I think you're gonna have a blast, Elon.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that. And that just to piggyback on that story, I felt the same way when I knew that I was about to get an audition date and I had to go to Nashville a couple weeks ago. And I was like, I might cancel this or fly back because I don't want to say, oh, wait, I can't do it this weekend. You never want to say no to somebody because in this business, sometimes they'll say, oh, no, okay, then never again.
Yep.
But that's not how it turned out. So anyway, everyone, it was great having you here with us. Next week.
My thing. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, do your thing.
Follow me at Mike B. Suarez. The weekend of the 5th through the 8th, I'll be with Rich Voss at the Creek in the Cave in Austin. I don't know if there's a better way to spend Mother's Day than with Rich Voss. And then the 12th to the 14th with Big J. Okerson in San Antonio at Laugh Out Loud. And then the week after that at Side Splitters in Tampa with Dan Soder.
Ooh, good, man. What a roster, Mike. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, go to those shows, everyone. Those sound good.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, Dave will be back next week, everybody. But thank you for joining us today. On behalf of Mike and Eric, I'm Elon Altman. Have a good night, everyone.